What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. Evil is choked by Lee. Luna at Will's bed. Invader. Katie rages. The Bold and the Beautiful indicates that once Katie Logan becomes enraged over Wood Spencer's bed invader, Lee Finnegan would strangle villainous Luna Nozawa. Thomas Forrester continues his tirade at the Forrester Design Office as Ridge Forrest prepares to defend Brooke Logan in the opening scene of BNB's weekly promo. Thomas will continue to blame Brooke for controlling the situation even after Ridge tries to get him to relax and accept his romantic choice. Thomas will be even more incensed when Brooke confesses that she is already married to Ridge once more. "Dad, tell me. Make me aware of her deceit." In the weekly teaser video, Thomas begs. Thomas will be upset at his father's choice to marry Brooke so soon after his Taylor Hayes breakup, but Ridge will undoubtedly admit that the wedding news is real instead. Regarding Taylor, she will address Eric Forrester on her own. Taylor will question whether Eric truly believes Ridge would be happier with Brooke and attempt to caution that Brooke will ultimately only lead to more trouble. Luna's plan to hide at Remy Price's house won't last long though. As it happens, Luna will still have to deal with Lee, Katie, and Bill Spencer's fury in the near future. Luna will undoubtedly encounter strong criticism from Katie, who will attack her for exploiting her son. Katie will give Luna a lot of leeway because Luna tricked an inebriated Will into believing he was having an affair with Electra Forrester. Lee will go completely crazy as soon as she finds out what Luna did the night she vanished. Lee will lash out at Luna for aiming at after everything she has done for her niece and granddaughter. Will appreciate this. "You're a bad person. Evil." In BNB's weekly advertisement, Lee yells as she tries to strangle Luna by grabbing her by the throat. Don't miss any of the action, as the Bold and the Beautiful predict that Luna will be in awe of Lee's amazing maneuver. As Thomas rails on the Ridge, Lee calls Luna evil and chokes her. How many times can Ridge switch places with Taylor and Brooke? There are a lot of questions this week. After splitting from Paris, did they bring Thomas back only to make him worse? And was her mother's treatment of Liam the reason he ended their relationship? What will he do this week after finding out that Ridge retreated and returned to Brooke, marrying her in the process? Although he has already begun to close in on Brooke, is he not realizing that no one can force Ridge to do anything? The man does what he desires. And will Ridge and Brooke's marriage last? Ultimately, no witnesses were present, and no record was signed. Will Ridge waffle again as a result? Usually, he rotates his tires as frequently as some people do. You would think that by the time they are 60, these folks would be well organized. Wouldn't it be more interesting to switch up the couples? Ridge might have waited to find himself before committing to another relationship. Taylor could have found someone else, and Nick could have remained with Brooke. What would happen if Ridge and Brooke ended up dating? Is Taylor going to experience broken heart syndrome once more? When he abandons them at the altar and is unable to make a decision, why do these ladies find him so attractive? Have you joined our Facebook group yet and left a remark with your thoughts? Join our official Bold and Beautiful Lovers Club to talk with other soap opera lovers who share your interests. Beyond the Gates is where Torsten K crosses over. Find out how to watch and when that's happening. September is approaching. According to our spoiler article, a few new people who are connected to our main families will be appearing. Carter contributes to bringing Daphne back into the story more as Hope and Liam grow closer and the effects of that are felt. And there may be a character from Daphne's past who may appear and have an intriguing effect on several of our characters. This week's promotion for BNB. "Dad, tell me. Make me aware of her deceit." After finding out from Brooke's mouth that she and his father were married, Thomas yells at Ridge. Do you believe that Ridge would have fared better with Brooke? Yes, he does believe that, so Taylor asks Eric, who will have to explain. Katie accuses Will, who is standing by his mother's side. "My son was exploited by you." Luna, in some way taken aback by the rape charge, asks, "What? Following all I've done? You're a bad person. Evil." Lee screams while strangling Luna. The Brave and the Lovely this week brings one of the most chaotic storms of family rage, betrayal, and shocking confrontations the soap opera has seen in years. At the center of the hurricane is Luna Nozawa, whose depraved tactics finally catch up with her as Katie Logan rages on behalf of her son Will Spencer, and Lee Finnegan crosses all boundaries by literally choking the villain in a fit of uncontrollable disgust. However, this storyline is not just about Luna's degeneration. It's also about how every family in Los Angeles reacts when Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan confess that they are secretly married again, sending Thomas Forrester into yet another obsession. In the Forrester-Spencer-Logan-Finnegan web of alliances, Taylor Hayes experiences yet another heartbreak, Eric Forrester reveals his true allegiances, and Deacon Sharp experiences a moment of humility. The episode begins at the CEO office of Forrester Creations, where Ridge tries to have a calm conversation with his son Thomas, who has been vacillating between creative genius and emotional fragility. However, peace is impossible when Ridge confesses with a half-smile that he and Brooke got married again in an impromptu wedding officiated by Carter Walton, who took rings out of the desk drawer and led the couple through heartfelt vows that left them kissing in front of the fireplace. Already boiling with animosity, he erupts in anger at his father for marrying the woman he holds responsible for appending their family's stability, yelling, "Dad, tell me." As Ridge attempts to maintain his composure, it only strengthens Thomas's belief that Brooke controls every outcome. Meanwhile, across town, Taylor Hayes presses Eric at the mansion, seeking validation as she claims that Brooke will only hurt Ridge once more and that he has made a mistake that he will regret. Eric, who is still protective of his son but has also witnessed decades of romantic cycles, gently acknowledges that Ridge's heart always returns to Brooke and that perhaps Taylor's pain comes from fighting fate. While these battles take place in the slick offices and living rooms of Forrester, a darker, more sinister confrontation breaks out at Lee Finnegan's apartment, where Will Spencer stands shaking with disgust as he finally realizes that the mysterious woman who invaded his bed was not his girlfriend Electra Forrester, but Luna Nozawa, who used deceit and a mask to seduce him. Despite Will's feelings of shame and self-doubt, Luna only laughs as she puts the mask to her face and makes fun of his suffering, claiming that he had a great time and that she only gave him what Electra would not in her judgmental innocence. Will recoils in horror as he reminds her that he thought she was dead and that their encounter was nothing but vile exploitation. However, Luna, in her delusion, responds that their night was magical, their bodies were in sync, their passion was undeniable, and she even suggests that they do it again, sprawled across Lee's bed with a seductive smirk as she sneers that Electra is boring when she herself is the woman who can satisfy him. Will, swallowing his rage, declares that she is evil, busted, and destined for prison, and it is at that exact moment that Katie Logan enters like a lioness, her voice rising with each syllable as she accuses Luna of taking advantage of her son. However, Luna, cornered but still arrogant, tries to brush the charges aside, laughing off the possibility of a rape charge. Katie, however, is unfazed and reminds everyone in the room that consent based on deception is not consent at all. Her words reverberate with the anguish of every mother who has witnessed her child being harmed, causing Will to look at her with gratitude despite the shame covering his face. Finally, Lee Finnegan, who has been quietly absorbing the horror of her niece's actions, breaks down as she leaps forward with trembling hands and puts them around Luna's throat, yelling, "You're a bad person. Evil," as she strangles the lady she once attempted to defend, a scene so graphic and unsettling that even Will, who hates Luna, gives a startled gasp as she sees Lee's rage, and Luna's wide eyes realize for the first time that she has gone too far, that her arrogant self-confidence has been validated, and as Katie screams for Lee to stop, the moment's significance is undeniable. Even though Lee is pulled back before Luna loses consciousness, the damage is done. Luna is no longer the seductress in control, but the villain on the verge of going to jail and possibly worse. Lee, a doctor who saves lives, is now strangling evil itself, representing the wrath of every viewer who has watched Luna slither through lies and manipulations. While this is going on, Donna Logan and Eric Forrester eat lunch with Deacon Sharp at Giardino, where they discuss Ridge's hasty remarriage and Brooke's miraculous survival in Naples. They all laugh at Deacon's taunts at Ridge, but they all agree that Ridge and Brooke's bond is unbreakable, and Taylor's pain will once again be collateral damage. What makes the contrast so striking, though, is that as these wealthy elites sip wine and reminisce, across town, Luna gasps for air, Katie wipes raged tears, and Will clenches his fists at the horror of his exploitation, demonstrating how love and violence, destiny and depravity, occur simultaneously in the bold and the beautiful. Thomas, however, is not finished, as he storms out of Forrester, vowing to reveal Brooke's manipulation. Unaware that the larger scandal is not his father's marriage but rather Luna's upcoming arrest, because once the police are called, Luna's string of crimes, deception, identity fraud, and sexual exploitation will stack against her, and no conjugal visit joke will save her this time, especially with Lee and Katie ready to testify. As the credits roll, the weekly promo teases the fallout with Thomas yelling at Ridge once more, Taylor confronting Eric, Katie calling Luna vile, and Lee's hands tightening around Luna's throat in slow motion. It concludes with the eerie tagline, "Evil has a name and justice has a chokehold," leaving fans around the world gasping at the soap opera's most recent turn. For now, one thing is certain: Evil was choked, Katie raged, Will stood tall, and Luna's reign of vile seduction is over, at least until the Bold and the Beautiful manages to twist the knife once more. Will Luna eventually serve time in prison, and will Lee's violent outburst haunt her career, her family, and her soul?